Hello and welcome to your weekly forecast for the week beginning the 1st of September 2014. If you're a new subscriber, thank you for joining the service. We're going to take a look at the aspects for the week ahead and what the overall energy for the week ahead looks like. And it looks like following on the heels of previous weeks. I know there's been a lot of relationship issues for people coming to the surface, especially after the new moon. And there are a lot of things to be worked out. Now, when I say relationships, I'm not just talking about intimate relationships, but those are included. But this would include relationships of all sorts, so business relationships, friendships, pretty much every type of connection would be involved in this. The reason for this is both the Sun and Mercury have been transiting a section of the sign of Virgo. Actually, two different sections, but they're related to each other. The Sun has been in a section of the sky called Purva, and Mercury has been in a section of the sky that's called Uttara Phalguni. Purva Phalguni and Uttara Phalguni relate to relationships. If you're not involved in a relationship, this can also deal with your relationship to yourself. And if it deals with your relationship to yourself, it really probably has been a rocky road for you over the last couple of weeks. But the point is that a lot of the harsh energy can be ironed out this week. A lot of the details can be sorted, as Mercury will be shifting from Uttara Phalguni and also from the sign of Virgo and moving into the sign of Libra, where balance is supported. And later on in the week, we've got Venus shifting into Virgo, which is ruled by Mercury. And what this does is it creates an interaction between these two planets that is called a state of mutual exchange. When Venus and Mercury especially are involved in a process like this, diplomacy can be supported. And I know you're probably getting tired of hearing that, but hey, that's been the key tone of the last couple of weeks, is trying to see if you can iron out the details. Now, we'll start off the week with somewhat of a harsh aspect. It's a minor aspect, but it's somewhat of the deceiving term to use the word minor aspect because it's also an explosive aspect, and it involves a major planet. And that is Venus forming a tense alignment with Pluto. It's called a sesquiquadrate. If you're familiar with your astrology, basically a sesquiquadrate is a square and a half. It's a 90-degree angle plus another 45-degree angle. So it's an angle of 135 degrees, and it only lasts for a brief time, so it should only be around for a day or two. But the key words here are confidence and self-trust versus arrogance and pride. And as we're dealing with the diplomatic process, it's important that both parties really honor the dignity and the needs of the other. But it's also very important that we don't get into the headspace of thinking that our way is the only way, or that our needs are the only needs that need to be met. If that's the case, chances are nothing is going to be worked out in the process. As we hit midweek, we've got a harmonious alignment between the Sun and Pluto. I have never seen an aspect like this happen, where there are not some deep facts brought to the surface that may not have been noticeable before. And sometimes it relates to some cold, hard facts, especially in relation to connections and a diplomatic process. With Pluto in Purva Ashadha, Purva Ashadha is about being true to oneself. And the Sun is still in Purva Phalguni. Both of these planets, both of these lunar mansions, which is what these are ruled by Venus. So Venus is very important to the process. So some deep truths will have to be faced before the details can be worked out, is what this aspect is suggesting. As we begin to head towards the end of the week, another tense alignment becomes exact. It's been going on for the last couple of weeks between Jupiter and Pluto. It's an angle of 150 degrees between Jupiter and Pluto. It's called a quincunx. Here the key word is wisdom and potential. Potential for the future, wisdom and learning from the mistakes of the past in relation to how we perhaps have not honored ourselves in the past, and making sure that we're taking steps to I don't want to use the word demand because that's a rather harsh word, to ensure that our needs are met. But again, there has to be a diplomatic process involved in this because the needs of another need to be met. We also have a tense alignment between Mercury and Neptune as we're trying to iron out the details. We have Neptune in Shatabisha. Shatabisha has an obscuring quality related to it. It usually tends to create a calamity or a drama when it's involved in an aspect. And this drama is not all that it seems to be. So with Mercury in Libra, there's a need to step back from the situation, honor the feelings that are there and the sensitivities that are there, but try to gain a clear perspective on what's going on and avoid conflagration, as later on in the week, Mars will also be forming a short but tense alignment with Pluto called a semi-square. So that is sharp angle. So the potential for tempers to flare can still be there, but we're not dealing with it quite as much on the scale as we have been for the last couple of weeks. And it does show that there is some hope on the horizon for some of the bumps in the road to be ironed out, but both parties have to be willing to give ground. It's been a lot about relationships lately and partnerships and how to deal with these energies and how to set up a diplomatic process. And this week especially, it's about ironing out the details, focusing not just on self, focusing on both parties. That's going to do it for your forecast for this week. Until next week, I do hope that you take very good care of yourself. In the meantime, if you're a new subscriber, please also be sure to check out the discounts that you get on any of my astrological services, and you can find links to those through the homepage. Thanks a lot for watching.